Speedrunning records. Pretty cool, right? They can be massive displays on what a community's achieved over many different years. When a record stands for years on end, it's almost always a massive achievement. In most cases, the runner who achieved the time was so far ahead of the community that it took years to catch up. Or because nobody cared. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to be going through and analyzing some of these older records in many different games, and see why they stood the test of time, lasting as long as they did. I hope you enjoy. So, to start, let's go over a long-lasting record and a run we're all familiar with, just to, ease in. Super Mario Bros. Is one of the most infamous games of all time. Super Mario Bros. For the NES, it's not known for long-standing records. I mean, the game has over 8,929 runs. For any record to stand for more than a year in this game is incredible, let alone 3. From 2007 to 2010, a runner that obviously needs no introduction whatsoever. I mean, you've probably already watched a Summoning Salt video at this point. Andrew G would complete a run of Super Mario Bros., clocking in at 5 minutes flat. Now, there's a couple of reasons for why this run stood for 3 years. This run included pretty much every strat known at the time, and only had one major mistake in the run, that probably only lost around half a second or so. Now, before you start yapping about, how did this run last so long? The game's within a second of the task, 1 minute flat is easy. Keep in mind, this is the late 2000s. More people cared about polo shirts than speedrunning. It was a solid run for the time, that was destined to last as long as it did. It was eventually beaten in 2010 though, lasting 3 whole years, by, obviously, Andrew G. It had a much faster 4-2, and no mistake in 8-3, getting him a time of 4:59. Now, you might be thinking to yourself,
3年、サッツは絶対に何もない私。
well, from this point on, I'm just gonna keep going up in time. So, try 5 years. The original Castlevainia, like Super Mario Bros., is known for its massive history. But the second run of Castlevainia, done by Retro 2D Gamer, would last quite a while. The run would last a staggering 5 years. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I watched Summoning Salt again. The history of Castlevainia, oh, what a doc. Okay, I know it's older than my entire family tree at this point, but it's still solid. Anyways, this lasted mostly due to the low popularity of speedrunning at the time, with years between records being pretty common. It also introduced a lot of enemy boosts to the run, and pretty much cleaned up the previous run, making a solid record that would last over 5 years, until it was beaten by Bablo in 2010. So, these records, they haven't even made it out of preschool yet before their absolute demise. So can they really be that old? Well, my sweet human being, I'd like to present to you another speedrun that you might know about. Castlevainia 64. Of course, what else could I possibly be talking about? Done in 2005 by the runner Shadowhunter. Yeah, it definitely sounds like a 2000s name. Just looking at this run, we're starting to see the videos get lower and lower in quality. So just bear with me on this. I know it looks like some fucking Mario 64 analog horror video, but just bear with me. This run lasted 7 years. It was the first run of the game, and oh boy, you can tell. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I just think this run lasted as long as it did, solely because of how expensive it would be to upload a video that was an hour long in 2005. But I'm gonna be honest with you, the run itself didn't really have any crazy reasons for lasting as long as it did, aside from being an obscure title, and the game itself just got slammed on launch. Getting a 6.5 out of 10, it wouldn't really last that long though, as the game was eventually picked up and just completely optimized to death. It's honestly a damn good run. I recommend checking this one out if you get the chance. Now guys, we get to go to one of my favorite arcade games ever created. If you know me at all, you know I love me some Battletoads speedruns. They're like a nice steak dinner, once or twice a month is enough, but you just crave one once a month, okay? Battletoads Arcade has had its record last for 9 years. Jesus, this run's lived longer than TikTok. But unlike other runs that have lasted this long, it wasn't because of inactivity or anything else like that. It's because the man who ran the game is a fucking monster at Battletoads. He knows this game pretty much inside and out, which makes this an entertaining watch not only because of the tech, but the sheer difficulty of the game itself. Look in the description of the run, he's literally like analyzing each character and their slight differences. I'll say 50 likes on this video, and I'll do a full analyze of Battletoads arcade run. Also, like 0.01% of you guys are subscribed. Please help a homie get monetized. I need some Wendy's money. Alright, enough e-begging. Now here's a crazy one. Did you know Treyarch, back in 1997, made a game called Die by the Sword that completely flopped? Yeah, the term completely flopped is a term that's pretty much said with all of their recent games, but this game specifically had a lot of innovative ideas that overall just at the time didn't have many fans. The game sold terribly and was ultimately forgotten about. But that didn't stop some random runs on YouTube for standing for 10 years now. A 2915 that was just randomly posted to YouTube 10 years ago. Not submitted to anything, just posted to YouTube, because why not? This run has a really funny glitch, which is my guess as to why it lasted so long. Anytime he wants to clip through a wall, he just straight up flops on the ground. And then he just clips through the wall. I couldn't even come up to a theory to why this works, and I couldn't find anything anywhere, so I'm just gonna have to make my best guess. My guess is this is probably something with the crappy 1990s ragdoll physics, which is what this game's engine is based off of. It's the whole selling point of this game is the fact that the engine is interesting, I guess. So, I actually decided to try and attempt to boot up this game and just see if I can get it to start, or see if I could just do it myself, get some runs in, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to learn this game and beat this 10-year-old record, but I couldn't get the game to start. So, next game. So now, for the second to last run I'm going to talk about, is a game known as Advent Rising. The game released in 2005, and is overall alright. It wasn't poorly rated, wasn't super highly rated, mostly just a game people forgot about. But, for only having one world record, this run actually has some cool stuff going for it. Specifically a strategy known as wall riding. Done by jumping against a wall, you simply just go faster for doing it. And it leads to a lot of funny stuff. Anyways, this speedrun was actually submitted to speed demos in 2011, making the run 12 years old at this point, Jesus. The main reason this run hasn't been broken yet is because the game has 1/3 cutscenes. Set by the record holder Sets himself, the greatest drawback is that this run is almost nothing but scripted or timed sequences. Roughly 10 minutes of the run is mandatory. Yeah, 10 minutes of the 22-minute speedrun is required. Yeah, no, I understand why nobody wants to run this piece of shit. Now, guys, for the final run, I'm going to talk to you about a mythical run that's lasted 40 years. It's infamous for all its haters. People who tell him, like, it's impossible, a perfect run is impossible. A man who could break the space-time continuum itself, just to start in second gear. I'm, of course, talking about Todd Todger's 5.51 dragster record. A record that is quite literally impossible within the game. But he did it anyways. Why? What proof does he have? You know, you might be asking that. Well, because he and his crappy, easily photoshoppable Polaroid said so.